I guess first off, that Athletes in Action retreat. I know Kata and Jay-Sean went to that last year. How did you get involved with that, and what did that do for you?
Pretty much the coaches sent me just, I guess, basically to be a leader for this team. I really liked the experience, just to hear other guys' perspective at other schools. It was a plethora of schools that attended high major, low major, so it was kind of interesting to see how they kind of perceive things on their teams and how I can bring it back to our team.
Did Jay-Sean or Kata talk much about what their experience was like last year when they got back?
Not too much. I know they enjoyed their time there. I know they still talk to some of the guys that they ended up meeting there, so that's pretty good. And the relationship that I built there will kind of last a long time for me as well.
Why do you think it was specifically important for you to go to something like that?
Probably just to get out of myself a little bit. I kind of been, I wouldn't say like taking a back seat, but kind of just, not really being vocal in practice off the court. And so that kind of helped me kind of see where my strengths are as being a leader and what I need to work on.
CJ, did you know Keyshawn Woods at all growing up in kind of the same area of North Carolina?
Yeah, I knew him. He kind of went to Northside Christian, which is not too far from the high school I was at, probably like 20 minutes.
So had you guys ever played against each other or with each other before?
Yeah, I probably played him like 4 or 5 times before I came here.
So what did you know about him, I guess? But when you heard that he was coming here, maybe I guess you probably had met him maybe when he was on his visit or whatever. What did you know about him before he got here?
As a player?
Yeah.
He can shoot the ball. He's just a player that knows how to play the game, and it's not really too many people like that now, and I knew that from before. I know he had a really good shooting game one of the games that we played. He can defend his multiple positions, and so that will help us this year. He's real easy to get along with, so it's not like he's a case off the court. And so, I kind of knew him though. So,
you and Andrew obviously played really well together. Maybe about the midway point of the season last year, maybe a little before that. Are you able to tell yet, like, how you and Keyshawn might play together? Or is that, and if not, how long does something like that take?
Just kind of playing together, open gyms, 2-on-2. But so far, I feel like we're meshing pretty good. Just being able to read each other and play off each other will definitely be big this season. And so far, so good.
Obviously, you guys lost a handful of important leaders from last year. You're a guy now who's been in the program a few years, one of the upperclassmen. How are you kind of adapting into that role and taking what you saw from some of those guys?
Just trying to take piece by piece. Like you said, a lot of guys are gone, and this year we'll have a completely new team. A lot of new guys that kind of don't know what it means to be in this program. So not only myself and a couple other guys who've been here are trying to just be a little bit more of a leader. And we don't have to do it individually. We can do it collectively. So that's the biggest thing so far.
CJ, when you talk about that being a completely new team, do you envision this being a team that's more guard-led than it was last year? And you guys there were so many questions in the offseason just about the backcourt. Is this a different feel for you guys that are playing that position, the guard spots, and do you expect it to feature you guys more?
Well, we haven't really gotten that far into it. But definitely, like, just based on what we have on paper, we have more guards, more guys that could handle the ball and make a little bit more decisions, like coming off ball screens and things like that. So it should be a lot more competitive in practice as regards to that. So I'm excited just to see what the new guys have and what the old guys bring to the table as well.
From a bigger picture, is there a different, feel to workouts in the summer? It's year 2 with Coach Holtman, and you guys, accomplished so much in year 1. Is it just different to be around here than the conversations and the way you guys approach business than last June?
Our mindsets are pretty much the same as it was last summer. We got to kind of start over a little bit. We got a new team, so we people who is returning knows what it takes, and we, like me, Andre, Micah, we know what it takes to lose as well. So we're kind of not trying to go back down that path, and we're trying to take the path that we took last summer.
CJ, you talked about you and Andrew playing last year. Now he's one of your coaches. How do you see him fitting in on that coaching staff? What can he bring to this coaching staff from what you know from playing with him last year?
He's just a passionate guy. He knows how to play the game. He knows how to teach the game. He was almost a coach last year, but who just got to play. So I don't really see too much change other than he can't play. So.
CJ, why don't you just tell us like where you are just with your journey, going through a transfer, playing for a couple of different coaches now. I mean, what's your mindset? I mean, do you have any individual goals in mind, or more team-oriented goals for how you want this last season to go for you?
Definitely more team. I just want to go out and leave the program in a good spot, kind of how this last class left it. They could go out and say they did something for the program, and that's kind of how I want to be left, be remembered when my year's over.
Is there any front runner for who's gonna step up and take like the main like leadership role, vocal leader or otherwise?
I don't think it has to be just one person. Like I kind of said, it kind of needs to be a collective guy, maybe 2 or 3, maybe even 4 guys that have to step up into that role, whether it's for this year or next year. So everyone can learn and everyone can get better from each other.
Have we resolved who's the real CJ? I mean, no, seriously though, how are you guys differentiating between CJ and CJ?
It's definitely weird because I know the other day they called CJ and we both just looked, and then he was like Walker, and I was like, oh, okay. But I mean, we'll figure it out.
You still have yet to figure it out?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of new still. It's never happened to me.
The NCAA today, CJ took a couple of steps that can be considered athlete-friendly, neither of which is going to affect you, but I'm just wondering, as someone who's entering their senior year, if you've seen any difference in the relationship between the NCAA and its athletes just in the time you've been at OSU, or do you ever really deal with that? Is that maybe something that the coaches in compliance and that, but do you see a new athlete-friendly NCAA or no? I
haven't dealt with it, so I wouldn't know. Maybe so, maybe not. I don't know. It's kind of more the coaches thing, compliance thing.
You're going to be a coach someday, though.
That's the plan.
Yeah. Can you talk about that and what steps you can take as a player to be a coach someday?
Just being open-minded to coaching, kind of listening. As a player, I kind of know what coaches like and what they don't like, but I don't know what a coach likes from a player because I've always been the player. So just kind of trying to see things from a different perspective, and like Dan said with the internship, it's really helping me just kind of open my eyes from a new perspective.
And take notes from Dockage.
Yeah.
The NCAA did open up the transfer rules today, as one of the things that Lori was talking about, and so players, conferences, or teams, can't block transfers now. Do you think that's a good thing? Is that more power for the student athlete?
I guess you can say that. It kind of, they have their own best interest, they can make their own decisions at this point and not really be blocked by the conference. Yeah.
When you were talking about Keyshawn a minute ago, you said, I think when he was growing up, that he played a way that maybe guys don't normally play. I don't remember exactly the phrase he used, but what did you mean by that?
He just knows how to play. If a guy hits 2 in a row, it's not really a my turn shot. It's you try to look for your teammate, and things like that is kind of just, it's real small and minor, and it goes a long way just as far as chemistry and bond, especially when you're playing in a hostile environment on the road. That just instills trust, and you got to have that.
Did you like how last year, once Andrew started to play a little bit more, you were able to play off the ball some more? Because I think when Keyshawn, with him joining the program, it seems like maybe there might be some more opportunities for that where you won't just have to play the point. Is that something that you look forward to and you hope you can do more of this year?
Just wherever I'm needed. I'm kind of used to playing point guard. I'm accustomed to it now, so it doesn't bother me like playing it the whole game or the whole season. But if this team works better with me off the ball, then I'll do it.
CJ, I know you won't get a chance to play with CJ Walker in a game, but what have you seen from him in practice? What does he bring to the table in practice? How can he help you guys get better this year on the practice floor?
The biggest thing is he's talented. If you guys saw him play this year, he's a talented guard, and he brings toughness. He's kind of one of those Coach Holt tough guards that are kind of get in your face, not really a back down type of person, and so he'll fit right in with us. He'll be a tough person to guard every day in practice, and seeing that every day will be good for us as a team and for him, for his sit-out year.
You guys last year obviously had a chip on your shoulder, missing the tournament the last 2 years, and then the preseason projections and whatnot. How do you I don't know if you need a chip this year, but how do you kind of have that same kind of motivation going into a season where maybe there's more expectations from you this year?
Basically, this team hasn't proved anything, and so we have to come in with the same mindset as we did last year, as far as we just got to do it for each other, do it for the coaches, and nothing else matters. We're just going to take it day by day, and that was the biggest thing that we did last year. We didn't focus on, the games in the weeks to come or the conference season when it was conference time. So we just kind of focused on every day getting better in every workout, every practice time. And once the time came to, perform at a high level, we were able to.
Is it tougher to do that once you've started to have some success, or is it just keep that right mentality?
I would say Coach Holt does a good job of just kind of keeping us level-headed, evenly ground. He kind of gets on to us a little bit, and some days he's a little bit more tougher, as he should be, especially when we go on a couple-game win streak. He kind of reels us back in and lets you know you're not as good as you think.
You said you're pretty comfortable now as a point guard, and Coach Holtman said a couple months ago that they were looking for guard help, but not necessarily because he wanted to move you from guard. He seemed to suggest that you've earned that role and it's kind of yours. I'm just wondering, when you think maybe you earned that, or when you started to feel comfortable in this role that now it's sort of being handed over to you, that this is sort of your team to run this year?
I don't know. Earlier in the season, I was struggling just with expectations from the coaches, what I wanted for myself, what my teammates wanted out of me. And so once I didn't start the Michigan game here, I just kind of took a step back and just thought, how can I help the team? And Coach Holt, he brought it to my attention, would just be selfless and everything will come. And so once I started, thinking about just being more serving and how can I help, and then pick and choose my spots where I can be aggressive or where I can get K to the ball or just things like that, it kind of helped for me, and then the game started to really slow down.
Are you one to watch a lot of film from last year, or no? Do you look at that stuff a lot or no?
Yeah, probably every day.
Okay. When you look at the way you shot the ball and sort of how your percentages improved, what was the key there? Was it anything technical? Was it just the confidence thing? Why were you able to sort of up your level shooting the ball last year?
Just confidence, basically. At this point, you kind of shoot how you shoot. We're kind of old to be changing our shots, drastically. So it was just confidence and getting the reps in every day, before practice, after practice, whenever I could, just to get extra shots up, just to see the ball go in.
CJ, you did a radio interview right before you came in here, and you told those guys that your season started to turn around once Coach Holt told you to relax, and you did that. I'm curious, how does a player go from being too stressed or whatever you would describe that as to relaxed? How did you make that switch?
Just basically, he put it to me as at that time I only had 2 years left, and the time goes by fast. The seniors kind of described that once your time is going by fast, so there's no point in being here stressed and just worried about things you can't control. Just control what you can control. Have fun with your teammates. You're going to cherish these relationships. Is the biggest thing, and because in the beginning it wasn't fun because I was just putting so much pressure on myself to perform the way I know I could. And once he told me just to just take a back seat and just relax. Go out there and have fun, and then I was able to kind of play the way I know how.
You're a future coach. Could that not have backfired, reminding you how little time you had left to get things done? You said he told you only had 2 years left.
Yeah.
A ticking clock is not something generally that causes people to relax.
Yeah, but you kind of just learn through experience. It was either that or keep losing. We started out 6-3, so something had to give. So it was just just have fun with your guys and enjoy every moment.
Micah said that it's made a big difference for him that you guys have been able to work with the nutritionist and Coach Q this entire summer, not have him come in late. Have you noticed any difference for you personally, and if so, what has that difference been?
Yeah, I definitely started eating a lot better this summer than last summer. And I feel more fresh. I can do more, I can go longer, even sleep less and have more just energy, period. I like it though.
Would you give up?
I wouldn't say I gave up anything, but I just tried it before this summer started. I haven't had a salad in a year, so I try to have one a day. So
I was wondering, CJ, just you spoke a little bit about conversations you had with Coach Holtman last year. Beyond that, was there something like in particular that you really noticed or that popped off the page just about his coaching technique or style that really contributed to the season that you guys had last year in a positive way? Like, what was the biggest thing about him for you?
I would say, well, he came in like he was like a tough guy. You know, he was going to work every day. You know, this is like a big job, but he kind of seemed like he put us on the same type level so we could like talk to him. You know, most players can't like have a conversation outside of basketball with their coach, and we can. You know, we go to his house for recruiting visits, just to have dinner. So it's just like a family, and so we can do something more than basketball. So it's just relaxing just to, you know, talk to him. And then once it comes to practice or the games, you can just, you know, he tells us all the time, just let loose and play.
Like, you mean like right at first he was very tough and stern with you guys?
Yeah.
Like he came out guns blazing?
Yeah.
And then kind of softened a little bit after that? Like,
I wouldn't say softened, but
no?
Yeah, but he's definitely.
But he lets you come over to the house, though.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's kind of soft.
I mean, it's cool.
Has it been, maybe I should have asked this earlier, but has it been weird without Keita, JT, and Cam? Just because, I mean, they've been here your entire career. Obviously, they were big for this program, what they did on the court and leadership-wise. Just as you start summer workouts and whatnot, is it weird not having them around like they were?
Yeah, definitely weird. It's just a little odd, you know, but you'll get used to it. Those are like, Keita and JT are like my best friends. We talk every day about everything. So I still talk to them. Like, I just got a text from them right before I walked in. So it's not like it's too different right now. But once we really like kick into things and we got the practice jerseys on and, you know, photo shoot day, it's gonna be a little different.
We've kind of alluded to it a couple times here, but has it really hit you that this is your last year at Ohio State?
Yeah, it's hit me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, what do you, how so? Like, what are you thinking?
I'm just trying to enjoy every moment at this point. Really valuing my relationships. My days here, I know, are very limited. And I kind of don't want to have any bad attitude days. You know, you can look in and just be like, I don't feel like doing this, but I know it's my last time. So.
And Coach Holtman, he's talked to us a few times about how this 2018 class that's coming in, this freshman class, they're going to be important, even some this year and, of course, the years down the road. And there's a lot of guards in this class, this freshman class. Has he asked you to kind of like be a mentor for them or be any kind of guiding piece for them? Or
yeah, the biggest thing was just to kind of show them how it's done, as far as just what it means to, you know, put on the jersey and what it means to be able to practice every day in facilities like this, as far as just appreciating what you have. And once we start practicing, I'm sure they'll be fine and they can get right into it. But just expectations, I don't think they quite understand what's expected of them, not just by like outsiders, but from us within. They're expected, you know, to be able to perform on and off the court and handle their business.
And then I asked Micah this last week. So the basketball tournament this summer, you got Scarlet and Gray, and you have the team that Andrew Dockage created. They both win 2 games. They would play each other.
Right.
If that happens, who are you rooting for?
Honestly, I don't care. But it's the game's here, right? Like, that game will be here? Yeah, I'll probably go. But I just want everybody to do well.
CJ, we've asked you a lot about leadership and taking over things here. Do you view this as your team?
Yeah, I would say yeah, definitely. Just because, you know, I'm kind of the one with the most experience coming back. But not just me personally, like my team. It's kind of all of our team. Even I'm really trying to harp and stay on Kyle Young. I go to the gym with him. I text with him all the time. Maybe just grab a bite to eat, because I really think he can help us this year. And I try to explain to him that, you know, it's your team as well, and this year can be what you make it.
Why specific? You said obviously you think he can have a big year, but why would you reach out specifically to a guy like that?
I just don't think he understands what he can bring to the table. I don't think he understands how good he is sometimes. And so with guys like that, you kind of just want to be kind of like a bug in their ear, just to tell them, come on, keep coming. And those days where it gets hard or where he doesn't feel like it, those are the days that you really push him. And if you keep doing it consistently, he'll trust you.
Is that a similar situation what you found yourself in when you got here?
A little bit, yeah. More so with the coaches, though.
Like, what do you mean?
Like when I first got here, I didn't like always have confidence in myself, especially through the bad times. And those are the times where you need other people to kind of, lift you up and not always tell you what you're doing wrong or how you can improve. Just tell you maybe the few things you are doing right. So that's what I kind of try to harp on him about.
And was there anyone that did that for you, player-wise? That
probably JT. Yeah, just telling me just keep coming, keep it going. There's no point in stopping now. You worked all this time to get to where you are, so you might as well get the most what you can get out of it.
As you were talking about all the conditioning and weight or diet and things like that, eating salads, will any of that stuff help as you get into the season, hopefully avoid the cramping issues you dealt with last year?
Hopefully so. We'll see.
CJ, obviously, Keita was a very highly publicized guy who left early to go to the NBA draft. But what's it like for you to see Jay Sean getting some workouts with NBA teams the last week or so?
It really brought joy to me because he works so hard, and I don't think people understand how hard he works just on his body, on what he puts in his body, on the court, just weights. So once he started getting these couple workouts, I think he had one today actually, it just made me so happy. I called him, and was just able to see him once he smiled about it. It was like good.
Does that? I know you probably haven't thought about this yet, and I know you want to be a coach like Lori said, but does that give guys hope that you don't have to be a guy like Keita who's talked about being a first-round pick all year to get a chance to play for an NBA team? Yeah,
definitely, especially with Jay Sean, because he just, the type of person he is, the type of player he is. He's always going to give it his all. He leaves it out there no matter what. So if you kind of, follow in their footsteps, it seems like good things will happen for you.
What level do you ultimately want to coach at? Like, what is your dream job?
Definitely not high school.
Okay.
So probably college.
College?
Yeah.
Can J.K. Dobbins film your apology to LeBron James, or can anyone do it? You were rooting for the Warriors.
Yeah, I was.
You were right.
If he wants to film, I don't really think I have anything to apologize for.
Well, no, I was a joke.
Yeah, but LeBron's a great player. We all know that, but I like Steph better, so.
Are you giving your teammates grief over that, or
for sure.
Are they suffering enough already?
No. They'll hear it for a while.
Okay.
Probably till next finals, for sure.